What's going on, guys? Out doing some cleaning today, and I came across a headstone as I was doing my check over it. So anytime you look at a headstone, let's take a look at this one. This is one that I was going to clean, but when we do cleaning, we want to inspect the stone first before we ever get involved with cleaning it. In my inspection on this one, I found that it's separated here. This is a fracture. So what we can see is somebody's worked on this before and didn't reorient these pieces properly. The last name and the inscription would always face forward in the direction of all the other inscriptions. If there's a double headstone, things like that, sometimes there's multiple inscriptions, that's different. But in this instance, all of the inscriptions are facing behind you, behind the camera. So they're all facing that direction. So the name, the last name, would appear on the upper base in that direction. So it's interesting, you've got the inscription here, the last name here, then over here we have an epitaph. So let's get this taken off. You can see the fracture here. I think the question that we all get asked on these videos when we're cleaning is, what do we use? Akimi's helping out with this video. This is the Akimi Long Life product. That's what kills the biological growth, and then there's the material here, this biological growth.
Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of information about the person that's buried here. We know that it's the grave of Friedrich Fritz Fred Prigg, who was born February 26, 1839 in Hanover, Germany. We know his father was Johann, and we know his mother was Dorothea.
One of the things that we need for a proper bond of our epoxy on this fracture and up top there is a clean surface. So we're going to use a little wire brush, make sure that that's really good and clean, and then we'll have to have it dry. It's super humid today, so it's going to take a little bit to dry. Company that also has a product that we use, Acropox 5010. It's the industry standard for marble fractures like this.
In our research, we also learned that when he was 30 years old, he, along with his parents and a sibling, took a Swedish-run ship, the SS Hanska, from Bremen, Germany to New York City. Then immediately after they arrived, they traveled to Minnesota, where the family of 2 adult children and aging parents became farmers in a newly settled area of the country.
But when we have something up on blocks like this, and you can see how this just spins, just like that. The pin is also a little offset. It's also super, super dirty inside of that. Perfect. Lead wedge as a spacer.
Just 2 years after arriving in the United States, he married Doretta Maria Mary Scheel, and together they had 3 children, Ida, Gustav, and Fritz. We also know that he passed away at a very young age, at 45, in 1885.
Now, before we go any further here, we do need to reface this. The inscription is on the back. We're going to put it to the front, so. Good. All right, here's the show and tell time. That's all those seeds, the ants, that's what was living inside there. More lead wedge, thick part out. This is the wedge. And set, as always, a little wiggle. Last step for this is getting our epoxy out. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be using some Makini products. This is the Ecopox 5010. Comes in 2 tubes. It's a 2-part epoxy. 2 parts of this, 1 part of this. I typically measure it out using spoons or popsicle sticks. You can measure it out by volume or weight, doesn't matter, it's the same. We only need a little bit for this surface up here, so we're not going to use too much. So just a little bit of each of these and we'll be good. And there it is. So to recap, the base was already level. I checked that. That was already good. The upper base, we refaced it to the last name. This had a pin here, so we rotated these 2 together, joined these, and then we used the Ecopox 5010 here on this joint. So this will hold up really well.